When I first moved into the nursing home at 82, I'll admit, I was nervous. I wasn't sure what to expect, and if I'm being honest, I worried it would feel like the end of something. But as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, something surprising happened. I began to see things differently. I noticed little moments of joy, lessons hidden in ordinary days, and truths about aging that no one had ever really told me. And now, after a year here, I want to share what I've learned with you, because whether you're in a nursing home, living independently, or somewhere in between, these lessons might just change the way you see this chapter of life. So today, let's talk about 7 life-changing lessons I've learned about aging. Some of them might surprise you. Some might make you nod along in agreement. But my hope is that all of them will remind you that growing older isn't about slowing down, it's about seeing life in a whole new way. Lesson 1. It's never too late to make a friend. One of the first things I realized when I got here was how lonely I felt, even surrounded by people. I missed my old routines, my home, the familiar faces. But then, one afternoon, I sat down next to a woman named Evelyn in the dining hall. We started talking about nothing in particular, the weather, the food, how much we both missed our own kitchens. And before I knew it, we were laughing about something silly, and just like that, I didn't feel so alone anymore. Here's the thing, friendship doesn't retire. It doesn't care how old you are or where you live. Whether it's a neighbor, a fellow resident, or even a kind staff member, reaching out, even just with a smile or a small conversation, can make all the difference. You'd be surprised how many people are waiting for someone to say hello. Lesson 2. The little routines matter more than you think. Back at home, I used to start my day with a cup of tea and the newspaper. When I first arrived here, I thought those small rituals were gone forever. But then I realized I could still have my tea. I could still find a quiet corner to read. Those little habits weren't just about the tea or the paper, they were about me. They were my way of saying, I'm still here, and my day matters. So whatever your routine is, whether it's a morning walk, a crossword puzzle, or even just sitting by the window with your thoughts, hold on to it. Those small moments add up to a life. And if you've lost a routine you loved, find a new one. It doesn't have to be grand. It just has to feel like yours. Lesson 3. Your body will change, but you can still find joy in movement. I won't sugarcoat it, aging can be hard on the body. There are days when my knees ache, when I move a little slower than I'd like. But here's what I've learned, movement isn't about what you used to do, it's about what you can do now. Maybe it's a gentle stretch in the morning, a short walk down the hall, or even just swaying to a favorite song in your chair. There's a woman here named Rose who dances in her wheelchair every afternoon when the music plays. And let me tell you, her joy is contagious. She's not worried about how it looks, she's just living. So whatever movement feels good to you, embrace it. Your body may not be what it once was, but it's still your home. Now, these are just the first few lessons, but already, I hope you're starting to see what I mean, that aging isn't about loss. It's about discovering new ways to live fully, right where you are. And there's so much more to share, so let's keep going. One of the biggest surprises about living here has been realizing how much I didn't know about aging, even after 8 decades of life. We all think we understand what getting older means until we're right in the middle of it, and then suddenly, the rules seem to change. But here's the good news, the more I've leaned into these changes instead of fighting them, the more I've found peace, and even joy, in this stage of life. So let's pick up where we left off, with a few more lessons that have reshaped the way I see things. Lesson 4. Letting go of supposed to is freeing. For years, I carried around this idea of how life was supposed to look at my age. I was supposed to be independent, supposed to keep up with my house, supposed to remember everything without writing it down. But you know what? The moment I let go of all those supposed TOS, I felt lighter. There's a man here named George who used to be a professor. He's sharp as a tack when it comes to history, but sometimes he forgets what he had for breakfast. And instead of being embarrassed, he laughs about it. My brain's just making room for the important stuff, he says. And he's right. Aging comes with its own set of trade-offs, and fighting them only makes it harder. So if you need to use a cane, Use it. If you need to ask for help, ask. There's no prize for struggling alone. Lesson 5. The past is a treasure, but the present is a gift. I'll admit, I spent a lot of my first few months here reminiscing, flipping through old photo albums, telling stories about the good old days. And there's nothing wrong with that. Those memories are precious. But one day, my granddaughter visited and asked me, "What's something you've enjoyed this week?" And I realized I hadn't really been paying attention to the small joys right in front of me. Now, I make it a point to notice things, the way the sunlight comes through the common room windows in the afternoon, the taste of the seasonal fruit they serve with lunch, the sound of laughter drifting down the hallway. Those moments won't make it into the history books, but they're the ones that make up a life. So by all means, cherish your memories, but don't forget to live in the now, too. Lesson 6. You still have something to teach and to learn. When you've lived as long as we have, it's easy to feel like your best years are behind you. But one of the most beautiful things I've seen here is how much wisdom is still being shared and how much curiosity is still alive. Take my friend Marjorie, for example. She's 90 and just started learning to paint. Her hands aren't as steady as they used to be, but her colors are vibrant, full of life. And then there's Henry, who's teaching some of the younger staff members how to play chess. Watching them, I've realized, growth doesn't stop just because the calendar says so. Whether it's sharing a skill you've honed over a lifetime or picking up something new, there's always room to grow. And that brings us to the final lesson, one that ties all the others together, but I'll save that for next time. For now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you found yourself letting go of a supposed to lately? Or maybe you've discovered a new joy in the everyday. Share it in the comments. I read every one. You know, looking back on this past year, the biggest surprise hasn't been what I've lost, it's been what I've found. New friendships, new ways of seeing the world, even new parts of myself I didn't know were still there. And that brings me to the last, and perhaps most important, lesson of all. Lesson 7. Happiness is a choice you make every day. I'll be honest, there are mornings when I wake up and my body aches, when I miss my old house, when the news on TV makes the world seem dark. But here's what I've learned, happiness in these later years isn't something that happens to you. It's something you decide on, like putting on your glasses in the morning or choosing what to have for breakfast. There's a woman here named Lillian who's 94 and legally blind. Every afternoon, she asks someone to describe the weather to her in detail. Then she'll say, "Oh, that sounds lovely, whether it's sunny or raining." At first I thought she was just being polite, but then I realized she's made up her mind to find the good in whatever comes. And that simple choice changes everything. Now, I'm not saying it's always easy. Some days the choice feels heavier than others. But even small things, savoring a good cup of coffee, listening to a favorite song, sharing a memory with someone who'll listen, these are all ways we can choose joy, moment by moment. So let me leave you with this. These 7 lessons about friendship, routines, movement, letting go, living in the present, never stopping learning, and choosing happiness, they didn't come from a book or some expert. They came from ordinary days in this place, from watching and listening and living. And if there's one thing I hope you take away, it's this: aging isn't about winding down. It's about opening up to new experiences, to new ways of thinking, to the incredible fact that we're still here, still growing, still maturing. Before I go, I'd love to hear which of these lessons resonated most with you. Or maybe you've discovered one of your own about this stage of life. Share it in the comments. Your wisdom might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if this video spoke to you, do me a favor, hit that like button, and consider subscribing for more conversations like this. Because we're all in this together, figuring out how to make these years our best ones yet. Here's to living fully, at every age. Thanks for letting me share what I've learned. Now go make some beautiful moments of your own today.